This is John for the Everyday Fan Sport. Today, I have the pleasure of being on the beat with National Basketball Retired Players Association Chairman of the Board of Directors and former NBA player and coach, Johnny Davis. How are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. Glad to be here in Chicago, in the windy and cold city. Always have been one of my favorite cities. It's just so much to do, so much culture here, such a great history, particularly when you talk about basketball. Everybody knows about the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan and all the success that those particular teams brought to Chicago. But they've got a nice, fun, interesting team currently. DeMar DeRozan is having an excellent year. I know Lonzo Ball is hurt, but hopefully he'll get back soon. And Zach LaVine, what a talent he is. So, and they're excellent coach with Billy Donovan. So, really a lot to be excited about here in Chicago if you're a Bulls fan.
We are excited, and I am a Bulls fan. You are here as part of the Legends of Basketball Showcase tomorrow, and I definitely want to talk about that. But if you'll indulge me with a few questions before that, just about basketball and your career.
Anything you'd like to know, if I have the answer to it, I'll give it.
All right, awesome. When you came in your first year with the Trailblazers, you guys won a title.
Yes.
How explain it to me? Like, how cool was that? How nerve-wracking was that?
Oh, it was one of the most amazing things, and actually the highlight of my career. And here's what's interesting about it. We won the title. I was a rookie. I thought this is how it would be all the time. You know, every year we'll compete for championships. We had one of the greatest players in the history of the game in Bill Walton, who was our anchor, and we were coached by Jack Ramsey. Had other good players, Maurice Lucas, Delano Hollins, Bobby Gross, Dave Torzik. We just had a really good, solid team. And what's interesting about it is, as we were going through the process of winning the championship, at the time, we were all just kind of coming together. Bill had been hurt from the year prior to that. Myself, Wally Walker, Robin Jones were drafted. Maurice Lucas and Dave Torzik come over from the ABA. And that's when the ABA and NBA merged. So we were pretty much strangers to one another as far as the team concept goes. But we gelled, and we were having fun. We were all young and fearless, and we just thought this was the greatest thing. And our fans were excited, about us. And it was just a really good time. We won the title. And I remember this, we had the parade, and it seemed like the whole city was there going down Broad. We were going down Broad Street in convertible vehicles. And people were like, those old movies you see where the soldiers are returning from war and they're going down.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what it was like. And
wow.
It was, we really had a lot of good support. Good players, good time, and really, we came out of nowhere because people didn't know about Portland and the Trailblazers at the time, and we just kept going, and we were under the radar for a while. Then finally, we get to the championship series, and we're playing the Philadelphia 76ers with Dr. J, and he was probably the Michael Jordan of that era. I mean, exactly. He was just a phenomenal, amazing talent. And they had so much talent on that particular team. And they were heralded throughout the year as being, for sure, the team that would win the championship. And here we were in tiny Portland, Oregon at the time in the Pacific Northwest, and no one really knew about us. And finally, we get to that series, and it was one of the most hard-fought, entertaining series, as I look back on it, that you could possibly have. You had a tale of two opposites. You had Dr. J and George McGinnis and Doug Collins and all of their good one-on-one players. And then you had Bill Walton, who I think it was Brent Musburger termed him the Mountain Man because
Yes, yes.
yes, we were out of Portland, Oregon, in the mountains, all of the pine trees, et cetera, et cetera. And and we lost the first 2 games to them, and they weren't even close. So people were already giving the championship to the 76ers and saying, this will be a sweep. 2 more games, they're out. Philly's the champion. But we went back home, and we knew that we hadn't played well as a team. They hadn't seen our best performance yet. So we go back to Portland, and we win the next 2 games. So now it's 2-2 going back to Philly. And we win in Philadelphia. It's 3-2. No way we're going back to Philadelphia. We're going to end this in Portland. That was our mindset.
Wow.
So we get to that 6th game, which was really the key game, because had we lost that home game to Philly and now have to get back on the plane and go to Philly for the 7th game, it would have been more of a challenge. No question about it. But our guys were ready. Our team was ready. Our fans were ready. And we went out and did what we had to do to win that title. And what's interesting about that game is we were comfortably ahead for most of it. They tightened the game up towards the latter part of it. And then the last 40 seconds or so, things were getting close. And then all of a sudden, we're up 2 points. We make a turnover with 6 seconds to go, something like that. They had 3 opportunities to tie the game. They missed all 3.
Wow.
And it seems like they Lloyd Free, who's now World B. Free, goes by that moniker now, took a shot, missed it, a fight for the rebound, it goes out of bounds, Philly's ball. We get back again. George McGinnis now takes a shot, misses it. There's a scramble underneath, ball goes out, they get it again, Philly's ball. The third attempt now. On the 3rd one, I think it was Doug Collins, I could be wrong on that, but a shot was taken, and all these guys, the shot hit the rim, and it bounced up in the air, and you could just see all of these guys jumping up for this main rebound. This is the key. All right, this is it. And I'm on the outside watching this, and I see all these guys: George McGinnis, Maurice Lucas, Caldwell Jones, Bill Walton, Bobby Gross. They're all in there trying to get this one ball, and there's 2 seconds on the clock. So if they get it, 3 seconds, they could put it back, get fouled, anything could happen. And I see this one giant arm that goes up over everybody else's and cleared him about an elbow. And he gets the ball and he tips it out. And the ball is coming towards me. And I run to get the ball because you just got to get this ball.
Oh, yeah.
We just got to.
Yeah.
And I go and I grab the ball and I'm going down the court and the horn goes off. We win the title.
Wow.
The fans erupted onto the court. It was unbelievable. It was bedlam. That good chaos is what that was. And,
wow.
And we head for the locker room. And man, what a summer that was. It was just the feeling of that was so unique and so special. And we wanted to do it again. So we come back the next year. After the first 60 games, we were 50-10. We thought for sure we would win it again. Well, Bill Walton gets hurt just before. So he goes out and we kind of stumble towards the end. He comes back for the playoffs. He sustains a fracture in his foot. It changed the complexion of the whole thing. And we never got close again. So that was it. That was the story of the Trailblazers winning it, thinking you're going to win it the next year. Pivotal injury. Everything changes after that summer. People were traded. They were trying to rebuild on the fly, and the rest of it's history. And they're still, to this day, searching for a championship in Portland, and it's been over 40 years now. So that's how elusive it can be. And that's why it's so special. And I remember in the locker room before the game, our late and legendary coach Jack Ramsey said to the team, just before we went out for that 6th game, he says, fellas, you don't know if you'll ever get this opportunity again. Let's take advantage of it while we have it. I remember him saying that.
Wow.
And we go out and we win it by 2 points.
So you
It's
did.
one of the most entertaining games ever.
No, I vividly remember watching it. I think it was on tape delay back in those days,
Yes.
maybe on CBS tape delay. But I vividly, my buddy and I would stay up. We watched those games. We cheered you guys on. I vividly remember all that.
Yes, it was a great series, and just a highly competitive, well played tale of two different type teams playing one another for the finals. It was billed as does the one-on-one team win, or does a team-oriented team win? You know, there's talent.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, if you look at it on paper, they had more talent, individual talent, than we did.
Right.
But the game's not one-on-one. You got to play it as a team. And we had a better team than Philadelphia. We played together. And you see that a lot today. I watch some of the teams play. One of my favorite teams, Golden State Warriors, who've been very successful over the past few years. They move the ball, share the ball. They play like they're really enjoying. You know, I know they're falling off a little bit this year, but that's a fun team to watch. And you got other teams too who are coming. But these guys now, they are so much more athletic than we were. And just physically, I think stronger. They've got all the training a guy could possibly want. You know, you got nutritionists, you got chefs, you got physical therapists, you got sports psychologists, you got everything you need to be successful. And with the type of contracts these guys are getting now, it behooves them to take care of their bodies and be in tune to what would give them longevity. And I think most guys are, you know, they're conscious of it. So
sure.
You're seeing a good brand of basketball. Everything evolves. The one thing I would say that I sort of miss is one of the traditionalists is the inside play of the big men. You don't see that quite as much anymore, where the big guys had an impact on the game. What you're seeing now is more people shooting threes, and so they're sprinting out to shoot threes, and you got a lot of, you know, it's not unusual for a team to take 40 threes in a game. Right. I mean, it would be unheard of back when we played. You know, obviously there was no three-point line. It came in later, but that's the main difference I see. But if you don't have inside play, then you miss the beauty and creativity of a Kareem Jabbar. Yeah. You miss that. You miss the dominance of, say, a Wilt Chamberlain. You don't see the creativity of a Dr. J. You know, how would he play in this game today? He probably would adjust because he's talented, but his main thing wasn't shooting, you know, long jumps. It was his creativity, going to the basket, and the way he could move, and it's like to me a jazz band where you have these different guys who come in and they do a certain part of it, and then you can really appreciate, you know, how they play. So they missed that part, I think, with today's game. I guess the closest you could say to that would be Joel Embiid, who plays for the Sixers. He's a very talented big man. And then Jokic, who plays for Denver's another talented big man. And what's missed is within this initiative to just shoot more threes, the last two candidates, or the last two MVPs, was the center. It was Jokic. Right. And the guy who was pushing him was Embiid, another center. So what does that tell you? That there's value to having a big guy who's talented, because you still have to deal with him. But I just think you're missing today, the viewers of today who, and I'm speaking of the younger viewers who didn't come up watching Dr. J and didn't come up watching Kareem Jabbar and Bob
Bird, Magic,
Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, you know, guys like that. They miss those guys, and consequently, they're missing a great piece of what the game has to offer. So I'm hoping someday that a young, innovative coach will get that back into the game, along with shooting the threes, because that's pretty amazing too when you see a guy like Steph Curry shooting
Yeah, oh, yeah.
10 threes in a game, and just the sheer beauty of how that looks, and the effect and impact it has in the game. So back when we were playing, if you were up 15 points with 3 minutes to go, you pretty much had it. You could just about just run that 3 minutes out in the locker room with a win. 15 now with 3 minutes to go, you're not safe, because the next 5 possessions could all be threes and they could all go in. Now you got a tie game with a minute to play. So it makes it exciting. I think the game is in great shape today. It's well managed. The teams they do a wonderful job of scouting and acquiring talent, and the style of play. Pick who you like. It's someone for everybody, a team for everyone. So the game's in good shape.
Now, you've named a lot of great players there, and I'm not going to put you on the spot to ask you the greatest of all time. But how, in your opinion, is it fair to rate players like a Wilt Chamberlain versus players of today to try to figure out who's the best, or can you compare players of different eras fairly?
I think it's an unfair comparison to say that, this guy is the greatest of all time. Let's let whoever the great players were of their eras have those flowers. Wilt Chamberlain was a phenomenal talent. I didn't get to see Wilt Chamberlain play, but I know a guy that's averaging 50 points a game. If he's doing it down at the YMCA, he's pretty good. So can you say that he's the greatest? Well, maybe of that era. Let's fast forward. Larry Bird. Was he the greatest? Let's let him have that time. Kareem, Magic, Michael. Is he the greatest, or is it LeBron? Well, Michael played in a different era. He was the greatest we saw of that era, that time. You can't compare him to today's game. The game's different. And the other thing with, what if social media would have been available when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in the game? Think about that.
Craziness.
It would have been crazy. So a lot of the players today have the benefit of better marketing, better branding, better, more television, more exposure. And so we applaud them and we say they are great players. And so for me, I appreciate what all of those players have done and are doing. And if you missed Michael Jordan, you get a chance to watch him play, you missed a master at it. He was really a master at the game of basketball. But you get to watch LeBron James. He's pretty good too. So
yeah.
So that's how I do it. Like, I appreciate what the guys did prior to, but I also have an appreciation for today's players. And when asked the question, who's the greatest, I said, depends on who you're talking to, and it depends on what type of style they like. There's some who would argue that Kareem has a case for it. There's some that says Larry Bird. There's some that says LeBron James. Being the highest scorer, does that make you the greatest? No. How about Bill Russell? If it's about championships, who won more championships than Bill Russell? So what are you judging it on?
Right.
What's the criteria? And the criteria has to be the same. The sample size got to be the same for everyone. Well, it's not the same for everyone, because back in Jerry West's days, they didn't have the 3-point shot. What if they'd have had it when Jerry West was playing? He had the ability to shoot that. And then you talk about triple doubles. Well, Russell Westbrook's a great talent, but Oscar Robertson, he did the same thing, but without the attention of the social media. So he didn't get the same sort of attention to what he was doing on the global stage, but still impressive nonetheless. So it just depends on what you like.
Well, speaking of great players, this brings us to tomorrow's Legends of Basketball Showcase. There's going to be 8 great college teams playing tomorrow. Could you tell us a little bit like how that came to be? Why was Chicago picked as the spot? How the teams were picked?
Chicago is such a great basketball city. I mean, the people who live here and appreciate basketball, they know good basketball when you see it. We've looked at, and our president, CEO Scott Rochelle, who really was the guy who initiated this with others, of course, looked at which teams would fit, where people could, maybe even get here to watch their teams play. My team, my former team, is here, and of course, I think they're going to win their game. University of Dayton.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're playing Wyoming, so that's a game that'll be fun and for me, really fun to watch my old school play. Then you got North Carolina State in the following game playing Vanderbilt. One of my former players that I coached, Jerry Stackhouse, coach over at Vanderbilt. Then you got North Carolina State, who always seems to be one of the heavy hitters in the ACC. They're playing Tulane and George Mason, Townsend, Northern Iowa. So you got some solid basketball teams here. It should be a very interesting day. And if you like basketball, you can pick any one of those teams and go and watch them, and you will be thoroughly entertained. It'll be money well spent and a great outing for you and your family should you choose to do so. Again, Chicago is such a special city that there's so much to do here. I mean, you get here, you could just make a real weekend out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the restaurant scene, whatever you enjoy in your personal life, you can enjoy it here in Chicago. It's offered here at some point or some place. But if you want to really see basketball, good basketball, then United Center is where you need to be tomorrow, because you got a choice of seeing 8 terrific teams play, and all the games will be great games.
Well, yeah, it starts at noon. You got 4 games. You got noon, you got 2:30, you got 7 o'clock, you got 9:30. You could buy all 4 sessions, sit there for 4 games, enjoy the food there, enjoy the atmosphere. I mean,
it's terrific. Yes. How can you be?
What more could a basketball junkie want?
That's exactly right. And what you get to see are young players who you will probably see a few of these guys in the NBA in the coming years, because a lot of these young players that you don't know about who are really good players are playing in this tournament. So this is a chance to get out and spend a day watching some good hoops, and as you mentioned, having some great food and socialize or bring your family down and just really have a wonderful experience, at the United Center.
And I have to add, for a very reasonable price. I looked at the ticket prices. This a family can actually afford to come to this thing. It's a perfect event, especially on a cold Saturday afternoon or Saturday like it's going to be. Exactly. No better place.
No better place.
Now, this is the inaugural event, the inaugural showcase like this. I would assume there's plans to have it keep going.
Yes. Well, we had one in Frisco, Texas, that we were involved with, Gonzaga in Tennessee. I'm speaking of the NBRPA now. Right. And so our home office is here in Chicago. And as we talked about it, we said, well, let's do something here, right here in Chicago, because this is got a great facility. You've got a great city, and okay, it's a little cold. Put on some gloves and a hat, and let's go.
It's warm inside.
That's right. That's right. So Chicago, and we're hopeful of having, and I think it will be a successful day tomorrow. And we're calling it the first, and hopefully there'll be others to follow, and it'll get bigger and better each year.
Do you think you'll move it around, or is that too early to determine that?
It's too early to determine that, but I know Chicago will always be considered highly as we talk about where we want to go as we enter the college space.
Yeah, I was just curious because if it goes anywhere else, I got to talk my bosses into giving me travel expenses, because I don't want to miss this. I'm going to love this tomorrow. Yeah. I encourage everyone to check this out, the Legend of Basketball Showcase. Look it up online. Go to the games. 4 great games. 4 really good teams. This isn't just a throwaway tournament. These
No,
are
no,
four.
really good teams. And as
These are
you
going to be
mentioned,
really good games.
yes, and at a great price. It's very reasonable, and you can come in and have a great time and go watch some game. You know, go grab something to eat, come back and watch the next game. You know, so it's right there. It's a really good opportunity for basketball fans to just take a day and say, you know what, I want to go and watch some good basketball down at the United Center.
I'll be there. I know you'll be there. You'll be cheering on your alma mater.
Yes, I'm right there. Now I've got to say, I'm going to be cheering for my school. I know, you know, it's not a classic tournament in the sense of
You're allowed,
but yeah, I'm a homer for Dayton. Yeah, Dayton's my school, and Anthony Grant's doing a terrific job coaching them, and they have some good young talent, and they're fun to watch. So if you're down there and Dayton's playing, root for Dayton.
see, I'm supposed to be unbiased, but if I went to DePaul, if my DePaul Blue Demons were there, you know I'd be cheering for them.
Exactly.
So hey, either way, it's going to be a great time. Johnny Davis, I really appreciate your time. I was a big fan of yours during your career. I followed your career playing, coaching. It really, you gave me chills when you were talking about the Trailblazers march to the title. I so vividly remember that, and it's such a pleasure to talk to you. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it, and like you, I look forward to tomorrow. So see you there.
Thank you, Johnny. Have a great day. Enjoy the tourney.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Thank you.